Hello, 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 and how are all of my fabulous, beautiful people doing today? I hope that you are all doing very, very, very well. I am doing well. I'm in a great mood today. Happy Saturday. It's been a while since I streamed at 1 p.m. on Saturday, which is my usual time for streaming. So today I have a bunch of stuff that I want to talk about. It is in terms of Canada. So I need all my Canada people. I need Canada people around here. But anyway, I want to talk a lot. Hello, Joe. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. I want to talk a lot about basically crypto scams, what's going on here in Canada with crypto scams. We have a lot going on, and the RCMP has shut down their division, which was supposed to be shutting down these scams. And I want to talk about that because I'm kind of pissed off about it. I'm not going to lie. That is making me upset. So without further ado, let's just get right into it because I already made everyone wait with stuff. Okay. So the first thing I want to talk about today. Hello. The first thing I want to talk about today is that basically, we've talked about this a lot before, though, is the fact that Binance has now been completely restricted here in Ontario. Ontario, we cannot use Binance. Basically, all users in Ontario restricted from using its platform. It's the largest crypto exchange by trading volume. It's confirmed in an undertaking to the Ontario Securities Commission that it would stop opening new accounts for users in the Canadian province. And apparently it's also been happening in a whole bunch of other provinces. I'm sorry, I'm in Ontario, so I know mainly about this one, but it's also happening in other countries. So a lot of countries right now are banning Binance, or Binance is not going to be open because they don't want to deal with having to follow the law. That's what it is. It says the dispute between Binance and OSC started in June last year when the exchange announced its decision to quit Ontario after a regulatory crackdown on crypto exchanges in the province for allegedly failing to meet securities laws.
You tell them, beautiful.
Okay, go to the store. However, in December, Binance notified investors that it was allowed to continue its operations in Ontario while still being unregistered in the province. So again, they didn't want to follow the law. They didn't want to register. They didn't want to do anything they were supposed to do. So they boomed in business during COVID-19, of course, which you may have noticed that a lot of these crypto scams, yes, I call them scams, have boomed. They've boomed since COVID-19, since the pandemic, which makes me a little sick to my stomach, but that's what's going on. And so regulators everywhere have been trying to get this thing to basically follow its laws. It's not following. So now we are at the point where they're doing money laundering. And yeah, they're being banned in other countries. It's not just here in Ontario. So that's a little bit worrisome. I wanted to just bring that up quickly before we continued on. A duet. Ooh. Are we going to do a duet, Joe? I want to do a country song, a really big twangy one. And we can be like, my dog died and my truck broke down and my girl broke my heart and ran off with another guy out of town. You know, like I got it. See, I got it. I just made that up on the spot just now. Boom. So I want to do it. So just starting from that, we're already at the point where in Ontario, Binance been banned. They don't want to follow the rules. So basically, since Ontario was like, well, you have to follow the rules. And they were like, but we don't want to. And Ontario's like, well, you have to, or otherwise you can't be here. So then they were like, well, in that case, all people in Ontario were banned. That's what happened. And they've been doing that everywhere. So we have that going on. Now, we also have a bunch of these other cryptocurrency scams happening. Sorry, I'm trying to like share my screen right now while I talk. And although I am extremely good at talking, I am not that great at sharing my screen. So here we have Canadian man out $81,000 in cryptocurrency scheme. All right. So That's a hell of a lot of money. I don't know many people that could afford to lose that. So this gentleman was from Alberta and he wanted to invest to help his growing family and research cryptocurrencies before putting some money into a trading platform online. I have an issue. I feel like there is no way to research how to do cryptocurrencies. To me, it's very much like MLM scams. There is no right way. No matter what, it ends up being a scam. So just saying, and this dude actually did lose $81,000 in a scam. It devastated his entire family. And it now has to work 7 days a week to basically make up the money for that. Love you. Bye. Have fun. So then we have somebody else from Scarborough who also has invested in this because a friend told her that she could make extra money. Now, what does that sound like? An MLM, your friend comes to you and they're like, I just joined this great thing. I'm making all this extra money. You can too. Come do it with me. And you're like, okay. So they put $30,000 into a cryptocurrency trading platform. She was going to put a down payment on a condo and was like, you know what? Maybe I could double or triple my money because that's what they're told they can do, right? For the past 6 months, she has been trying to get the money back, but she is locked out of her trading account and no one is answering her calls or emails. So basically, she's probably never getting that money back. The Better Business Bureau said that cryptocurrency fraud is now the #1 scam in Canada, with investors young and old falling for crypto scams online. And that's kind of an issue here. Please be careful. I don't want anyone out there to be investing even 1 penny into this and lose it because fuck that. Okay, it's a scam. The BBB said thieves are using social media to lure people onto websites that look real but are actually fronts for criminal activity. And this is why I do not trust companies like Zeus's Bounty, the cryptocurrency MLM, because you can basically just make a platform, add your own numbers into these things, make it look like people are getting a whole bunch of money in their investments back, but they're not. It's all just numbers on the screen. That horrifies me. It's not as regulated. It's not like the stock market. And it's not run like the stock market in terms of people can be out here pretending to be like cryptocurrency coaches and teach you the ways of crypto scam. And I don't know anywhere else where you don't get in trouble if you tell people what investments to make. I'm pretty sure that's illegal in the stock market if you have insider information, but I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. So there was a website that was open to help other victims of cryptocurrency scams to try and raise awareness of what's happening because many people who have been scammed feel like they have nowhere to turn. Right? So the one that they used was ShakePay. That's the one that they used. So they didn't use like Binance, they used ShakePay. It is a Montreal-based technology company used to process transactions between investors and legitimate cryptocurrency account holders. But of course, they're all like, this isn't our problem. You're in charge of what you invest in. Yada, 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 yada. And I don't know. I mean, I guess I'll have to leave that question up to you guys. If you guys think that ShakePay is responsible or just the scammers, like, should ShakePay be regulating what cryptocurrencies are on like their trading platform? So you know what I mean? Like, is that up to them to like look into? MLM, yes. This is all very MLM-ish. Because I don't know. Like, should we be expecting that of these? Because at this point, I'm kind of leaning towards yes, especially after all these scams have been happening. I'm sort of like, maybe we do need these places to go through some kind of system where they ensure that the places you can trade to and send your cryptocurrency money to aren't scams. Because if they're not looking into it, a lot of people out there, they don't really know how to look into it, which sucks, but I don't know. I just feel like maybe it would make things safer for everyone. Maybe just let me know what you think down below if you guys think that it would make things like safer. Yeah. Not our fault you invested in no coin. And that's kind of my thing is I'm like, but is it partially your fault? Because if you're running a platform like that and then you allow OneCoin to be one of the places where people trade to, oh, we all know like OneCoin, for example, is a huge MLM scam. Or like if Ash does invest like Ocoin and make some kind of Bitcoin shit, like should they then be looking into these guys and being like, we should not be trusting these people to trade on our platform? I think it's an interesting question that we need to kind of figure out the answer to. And the regulations we need to obviously go through again because we're all getting scammed. Well, I'm not getting scammed. I don't do crypto, but everyone else who's doing crypto is getting scammed. And that's kind of a scary thought, especially since there's a whole new generation out here of young people that really do think that cryptocurrency is going to replace real money. And so the scammers out here are like, woohoo, new prey, the younger people. And they're just going to town, making any scam that they can to rip everyone off. And it's a little bit scary out here. So we're having a lot of issues with cryptocurrency scams. And we need to kind of figure it out. Here's another one. This news actually just came out May 27th. So this is a new one. All right. And it was in Peterborough, which is not that far from me. I grew up in Kingston, not that far from there, that far from Ottawa here. Anyway, police are warning residents to be very wary of cryptocurrency investment deals after a resident recently lost $100,000 in a scam. You can buy a whole house here for that. The Peterborough Police Service say its fraud department launched an investigation after a resident reported investing more than $100,000 in cryptocurrency before learning that it was a scam. Well, I would hope that you wouldn't invest that much knowing it's a scam, okay? That's all I got for that. City police, with assistance from the OPP, which is our Ontario Provincial Police, were able to determine the funds were still electronically accessible as they had not yet reached the point of not being attainable. So yay! Police say as a result, with the assistance of a crypto exchange, the investigators were able to return the funds to the city resident. While Peterborough Police is thrilled to be able to return the money to the resident, it is recognized that this is not the norm and the return of funds is not considered a seizure by police, police stated Friday. So, yay! Somebody else, Peterborough, got ripped off $100,000. And as you can see, the BBB, the Better Business Bureau, is really, really warning people to stay away from cryptocurrency scams. How cryptocurrency is shaping the Russia-Ukraine war. See? Don't give to cryptocurrency. You're also supporting war, damn it. And then, here we have a romance cryptocurrency scam. Like when I say that these scams have taken over Canada, especially here in Ontario, I am not fucking joking. It is getting actually ridiculous. Which is why I say, please do not invest your money in these. And just when I think that the world is getting like, they're like, we want to stop all the scams, at least here in Canada or Ontario, some shit happens and it tells me that maybe we aren't as into it and stopping the scams as I thought. Lots of money to be stolen. Yes, and that's the thing is that for some reason, people seem to be investing in crypto, like they would in the stock market. And that is my issue, is they're giving like hundreds of thousands of dollars to this. And I know some people out there are like, "Oh, well, it's a new investment, so we just haven't worked it out yet, and it's gonna be great, and blah, 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 blah." But, like, the scammers have already ruined it, even if that was going to be true. It's at the point now where there are so many scams out there with it that you don't even know if anything you're signing on to in crypto is not a scam. I don't know if there is a legitimate way to trade it anymore. And because of that, I'm just telling people to like stay away from it. Maybe, just not invest $100,000 at least, because $100,000, that's somebody's whole life savings. I mean, that one was gonna get a condo and shit, and she put her whole life savings. I mean, it really does hurt me whenever I see these news stories that talk about people losing their whole livelihood because they trusted in something or someone, and then that person just completely took advantage of them. I don't like it when people take advantage of them. We're going to take a little break, and then when I come back, we are going to talk about why the RCMP maybe does not care about scams. And I'm probably going to pop off. So if you like to watch that, then you're in the right place.
Yeah. I can't be slowed. Everything I do, it turns to gold. I remember nights feeling so low, but lately I've been on a roll. Whoa. I can't be slowed. Everything I do, it turns to gold. I remember nights feeling so low, but lately I've been on a roll. Whoa. I can't be slow. Oh my goodness, greatest things alive. Can't hit 'em with a vibe. On the move, I'm in drive. Make 'em own, and I don't need no guy. No diamonds in the chain, and I need it one in the finger first. Cadillac, ship a whip skirt. Ever since my date of birth, I've been a shy kid, making mistakes. I was misguided, thinking why did I let myself get subsided into the past, getting gas. Moments to low, they cannot last. Chasing these dreams, getting sad. Trying to rise, please do not crash. Now I'm more calculated. DI-84, music industry, kicking down the door. It's okay, journey may be slow. I'm confident one day you'll know who I am I plan. Showing y'all everything I can. Never growing up like I'm pan. I'm just laying out. I can't be slowed. Everything I do.
Alrighty. So hopefully now I'll be able to do this. Gold. Yes. My husband actually found this song because of Nalter Deeds. He used to play it on all his streams. And then he found the song. And then my husband played this song every single day. Every day. Over and over again. So I was like, I better fucking fall in love with this song. I like the song. It's pretty chill, which I feel like maybe my viewers need that after they listen to me rant and rave on here for a little bit, Maybe you just need some chillness. So, the next thing I want to talk about is this. This is in relation to the CRA tax scam that I have been going on and on and on and on about on here for like 2 years. Every year at tax season, especially, this thing pops off, shows up everywhere. I get the emails. All my friends get the emails. It's annoying as hell. You get the phone calls. They try to rip off everyone. So when this originally occurred, and these people got caught, I was like, oh, fuck, thank God. Like, shut it down. We're going to talk about the whole thing because that's not exactly what happened. So let's just read through these articles. They aren't very long. I do not plan on being, that made no sense. I do not plan on, no, we do not want on passive. Then that makes me want to claw out my ears, That's only fun on passive streams. But yes, maybe I will start playing some of Alana's memed songs when I do the On Passive streams. But yeah, I'm not planning on being on here for like crazy amount of time. But this was like getting a bunch of hope and then just having it ripped from me, especially someone like me that like sits out here all the time just talking about scams and MLM scams and commercial cults and etc. I was kind of like, damn it, how are we going to stop all these things if the goddamn RCMP doesn't even want to help me? Anyway, let's just read through. Federal authorities have arrested a Toronto area husband and wife accused of being Canadian accomplices to an enormous global scam involving overseas call centers, including the so-called CRA tax scam, which, like I said, is something that I've been out here blabbing about for like since I started my channel in 2019. Because a lot of people think that I'm just an anti-MLM creator or an r/ creator. I talk about scams. I'll talk about cults. I'll talk about cults that are scams. But that's how the MLMs come in. You know, that's my gig. Then I also do r/ videos for a laugh in between because boy, do we need one. So again, the calls will be familiar to many Canadians. And I've also heard that the USA now has their own version of this, where it's like the IRS scam. I've covered that as well. So, you know, I hope that the FBI is doing something. Anyway. Scammers, commonly in India, recipient owes taxes and must pay immediately or else face arrest or imprisonment. And they'll be like, we're going to come in. I remember my husband and I got this call once and they were trying to tell him taxes because he used to live in British Columbia before we were together. They tried to say, oh, them taxes, or they were coming to arrest him. And I just remember being like, I don't think the police call and give you a warning if they're coming to arrest you. Like, that wouldn't be very helpful for their job. I don't know. So the ringleaders of this scam turned out to be Gurinderpreet Dhaliwal. I have no clue if I'm saying that correctly. I'm so sorry if I'm not. Who was 37, only 37, okay? I'm turning 36 on June 13th. Make sure you wish me a happy birthday, by the way. And then, like, I just think, wow, you assholes. I don't know. Usually I cover scammers and they're, like, older unless they're MLM scammers. But the ones that run, like, full-on scam agencies like this tend to be older. So I was just like, he's only in your mid-30s? Inderpreet Dhaliwal, who's 36, both of Brampton, Ontario, were arrested and charged on Wednesday. And that was Inspector Jim Ogden of the RCMP's Financial Crime Unit for the Greater Toronto Area. So, I mean, at least that exists. Yay! They each face one count of fraud over $5,000 and one count of laundering the proceeds of crime and one count of property obtained by crime. Because here, if you, for example, are running like a whole crime ring and then you go and you like buy property with it, like a business office, and then you even buy your house with it, they can actually now repossess all that stuff from you and be like, sorry, you obtained this all with criminal activity. This is all ours now. And then they like auction it off, and then you can get really cheap cars and really cheap places to live. Anyway, we have disrupted the necessary flow of money from Canada to India, which will have a big impact on the operation and bottom line of scammers, Ogden said Friday in announcing the charges. So we had this going on. We had literally the people online here that cover scammers. We had Jim. We had Scammers Payback Pierogi. We had a bunch of those guys also shutting down a lot of the call centers in India at the same time that this was going on in Canada. And I was honestly like, yeah, let's get it. Let's shut them all down. Let's go. And I was so happy. It was a great time. Yep, it was. Officials also announced they have issued a Canada-wide arrest warrant for a third individual, a 26-year-old. Damn, you guys are doing crime so young now. And it's a foreign national who is currently believed to be in India, which makes sense because I'm sure they would need some kind of India connection in order to run the scam there, right? I mean, if they're from Ontario, Canada here. RCMP further said investigators searched the couple's home, seizing $26,000 in cash, $114,000 in jewelry, a cash counting machine, and envelopes allegedly sent by like kind of forced into direct deposit. I I don't know. I've had direct deposit for a long time, but I seem to remember within the last year or so them putting up like a notice that everyone had to have direct deposit for their taxes and stuff set up. So I don't even think that you get tax returns and like checks anymore from the CRA. So don't ever think that they're going to ask you to send money in an envelope to them. Okay? It's just not going to happen. It makes me sad that people like fell for that. The CRA scam alone has resulted in reported losses of more than $17.2 million in Canada between 2014 and 2019. Additional phone-based and online scams, including the SIN scam, that's our social insurance number, the tech support scam, and the bank investigator scam, have also targeted Canadians. The Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre said it received nearly 20,000 reports about such calls in 2019, with more than 5,500 people falling victim last year. So this is now Project Octavia. So earlier this week, Marketplace was present when officers arrested the couple. Undercover RCMP officers had been tailing the couple for days. Early Wednesday morning, Gurinderpreet Dhaliwal stepped out of his home, got into his car, and headed for work at a nearby factory. Officers don't believe he had any idea he was being followed. Unmarked vehicles tailed him, switching positions to avoid detection. Well, like, I hope so. Sounds like a James Bond movie, though, doesn't it? When he comes out, we'll be ready for him, said one RCMP officer. Ooh, we got like a script and everything here. As Dhaliwal pulled into the parking lot of his employer in Georgetown, Ontario at 5:45 a.m., the order was given and officers surrounded the man. Within seconds, he was taken into custody. The contents of his pockets emptied as police loaded him into a vehicle to take him to the RCMP's Financial Crimes Unit in Milton, Ontario, where he was fingerprinted and processed. Processed like fucking meat. Police alleged Dhaliwal acted as an intermediary between Canadian victims and the organized crime groups operating the call center scams back in India. A few hours after the man was arrested, officers then called his wife, Inderpreet, ordering her to come to the RCMP detachment. She too was under police surveillance and was taken into custody as soon as she parked her car. In an exclusive interview with Marketplace following the arrest, Ogden said his team's investigation reveals this couple was working directly with scammers operating out of India. They were essentially money mules that were receiving bags of cash, then counting cash, and then essentially dispersing it and making it accessible to those that are running the illegal call centers in India. Quite an operation. The couple have not yet entered a plea and were released on their own recognizance. Why? I don't fucking know, because our court system sucks. I was like, why would you okay, they're gonna try and take off to India. I wouldn't trust these people, but sure. They're scheduled to appear in a Brampton court on March 2nd. All right. And yes, you can go, you can watch it on Marketplace. They have like all the episodes on it. Canadian show that catches scammers. It's one of my favorites. Marketplace has reported extensively on these overseas call centers, twice traveling to India to investigate. That coverage was instrumental in action being taken back here at home. It certainly helped that CBC did their expose that highlighted this a little more for all Canadians, including the RCMP. So basically, they needed the journalists. The RCMP needed the journalists to help them. Lovely. It pushed us in that direction and certainly investigated. So I was like, did they not want to investigate it like before that? Because that's a problem. Ogden leads Project Octavia, a special task force formed in 2018 to investigate the widespread scam. It came about 1 month after a Marketplace investigation identified the location of one major criminal enterprise in Mumbai behind the harassing calls. This is it here. What a lovely building, isn't it? Bars on the windows, such a great place. At the time, a senior Indian police commissioner said the RCMP had never reached out to coordinate prosecution of the offending call centers. I was like, what? Why not? The hell? What are we all doing out here? Canadian federal officials later said they were communicating with other authorities in India and conducting their own investigations. We started our investigation in October of 2018, and these particular individuals that have been arrested today and will be charged actually came to light in March of 2019. Police have since worked with Indian authorities to carry out a flurry of raids against suspected illegal call centers in the country. Canadian officials said Friday they know of 39 call centers in the New Delhi and Noida area that have been shut down. Ogden said still others will face police scrutiny and that he anticipates more arrests and charges in the next few weeks. He also offered this message to those still involved in the scam. We'll find you, and we'll further investigate, and we'll charge where we can. Sorry, I felt that needed a dramatic reading. Victims of the scams are often elderly or new Canadians, immigrants, so that pisses me off. Stop preying on vulnerable people, you assholes, who don't realize that federal tax authorities or major tech companies would never demand payment unsolicited, either by phone or online, or ask them to pay in difficult-to-trace Bitcoin or retail gift cards. And I'm currently looking right now into how I could start giving speeches at immigration areas here in Ottawa to let them know about these scams and not to do them and not to fall for them and how they work and not to send their money anywhere, because I live in an area that has a lot of immigrants, and it horrifies me to think that there are people just like someone next door to me could be getting preyed on right now by one of these. Okay, I don't like it. And they also asked them to pay in difficult to trace Bitcoin or retail gift cards, which again, stay away from goddamn Bitcoin cryptocurrency. That's what happened to Nahid Philippos, a Toronto woman who lost $3,000 to the so-called tech support scam after calling a number she found online when her iPhone stopped working. After news of this week's arrest, Philippos said she is relieved to see police finally making arrests here in Canada. I'm sure we all were relieved. Oh my God. Even if I'm not getting my money back, I'm happy that action is being taken for other people to be safe. It's very important. Agreed. And what a humble woman. Good for her. Mark Simchison, so sorry if I said that wrong, the former head of the Hamilton Police Service's Major Fraud Unit, has been following these types of scams closely for years. Good for them. It's about bloody time, he said about this week's arrests. I feel like that. Good for them. It's about bloody time, mate. It's a bloody time that they do something about this. Sorry. Before this action, Simchison believed Canadian authorities were not sufficiently prioritizing the issue. I don't think so either. I wanted to have faith, and I'm glad that they proved me right. And kudos to Marketplace, because you were the one that instigated this, in my view. And in my view, it's really sad that we needed Marketplace and journalists to be like, hey, yo, RCMP, yeah, Canadian authorities, hey, you want to maybe do something about all these people getting scammed, especially by call centers in India? All right, cool. Thank you. Blows my mind. Blows my mind. Okay, sorry. Sim Chizen said, while he is pleased to see Project Octavia moving forward, it's clear, however, that there's more work to be done. So much more. I think we're trying. Slowly, they may erode away at this. It's not going to stop overnight, but it may deter them. And then, of course, something new will come along, unfortunately, but that's just the way it works. It's how fraud works. It's how scams work. It's how MLMs work. That's why I am existing on this platform. Thank you. I will accept my applause now. No, I'm joking. So, again, we were so excited. We were so happy. Pay your fine with Google Play cards. Yeah, I know. It's so sad that people fall for it, because I'm just like, just think for a moment. Like, would they actually tell you to do that, though? Probably not. Yes, Joe, I listened to the one you sent. Oh my God. Every time I turn around, there's a new On Passive song that makes my head hurt. Oh, that might be what On Passive's call center is really doing. We'll see. And I've wondered about that, especially since he's been talking about like Bitcoin and stuff like that. Like, I've wondered if they're into something weird or scammy like that, because right now there's no other way for money to come in. And he keeps talking about how he has all this money to do all this stuff with. And I'm kind of like, okay, Ash, go off. In it to win it. So yes, Canada was like, we are cracking down on scams. Queen, very happy woman. Canadians, pretty damn happy. We all happy. And then another article comes out, and then I'm not so happy. So let's get into that one. Here we go. This is the article that prompted my stream. And then I also found the crypto scam things, and I always think that that's important to talk about, especially since these scams here ask you to pay in crypto and stuff. And I just keep trying to connect those things together, like how I try to connect MLMs and cults together so that people understand that there's no difference. It's all the same shit, okay? It's all the same culty, scammy crap, all of it. One is not better than the other. All crap. So here we have the Marketplace. This was on April 8th. So I was going to do this stream before I needed a break and then got COVID. But I didn't. And so here I am today. Yay! And this is the article that came out that I was like, oh, fuck no. Why? Why Canada? So I just want to talk about this because I'm pissed. Despite laying dozens of charges, RCMP have stopped targeting Canadian accomplices in foreign scam calls. Most people would maybe think I would be happy about that because then I have a job on here no matter what. But no, actually, I do what I do in hopes that these things get shut down. We report on them, we report them. I don't just sit over here talking on live streams and making videos. I also report to authorities. I report to the BBB, to all of the fucking places. Excuse me. And so, you know, you keep reporting things. You hope things are going to get shut down. You hope that regulations are going to be made. There's a bunch of people that were reporting crypto at the beginning in hopes that they would be better regulated. And, you know, like I said, even when they tried, Binance was still like, no, I'm not doing that. So, you know, you try to do something, and then you finally think the RCMP's on your side, and then this shit happens, and you're like, fuck. Now what? So, marketplace journalists confront alleged Canadian money mules linked to global scam. Oh, sounds interesting. Here we have dozens of Canadians who say they continue to get scam calls, including 2 women, one who lost nearly $200,000, and one whose father lost $69,000. Shame on you assholes for ripping off people that are elderly. For real. In the darkness of the early morning of February 13th, 2020, several unmarked RCMP vehicles followed Gurinderpreet Dhaliwal, I don't even care if I say your name right or not, you're a fucking scammer, into a parking lot in Brampton, Ontario. I just don't want to insult anyone that may be, from India that's watching this, and I don't want to insult them, but quite frankly, I'll say your name wrong all day, sir. When he stopped, the Mounties made their move. I know when I say Mounties, everyone in the US is thinking of these guys with a red jacket and a cowboy hat sitting on a horse, but that's not what it is. They only do that for our parades. Surrounding his vehicle, ordering Dhaliwal out and placing him in handcuffs. Within seconds, his arrest and that of his wife, Inderpreet, hours later, was a result of Project Octavia. I know Project Octavia sounds like an MLM just in itself. Doesn't Octavia? But it was a good thing. A concentrated RCMP investigation into telephone scams, bilking Canadians out of millions of dollars. Millions of dollars. Why are we shutting it down? A police search of his home would reveal $114,000 in jewelry, plus additional cash, a money counting machine, and other evidence that police say supports their allegations that the couple were key money mules for an overseas crime syndicate, funneling and laundering money from Canadian victims of scam calls to India-based call center operators. And yes, this is them. So, I don't know. Memorize these faces. Memorize the faces. The Dhaliwal's trial has been repeatedly delayed. Both have pleaded not guilty to charges of fraud, money laundering, and possession of proceeds of crime. None of the charges against them have been proven in court. 3 others scooped up in the task force's broader investigation fled Canada before they could be arrested. 2 others were operating from Nepal, but would be arrested if they ever come to Canada. So then they're just never going to come to Canada. 2 took deals avoiding jail time. 1 was deported, and 1 has not yet had his trial scheduled, which we need to get on because we're supposed to be doing these things in due time. So let's not fuck that up so that he gets off. Come on, Canada. But within a year of the Dhaliwal's arrest, Project Octavia quietly disappeared. I don't know why. We're not done yet. There's still scam centers. People still getting calls. These guys weren't the end all of the scam. The RCMP task force that targeted Canadian accomplices of scam calls was disbanded, even as those calls continue unabated and Canadians' financial losses mount. In an industry like this that operates with impunity, you are sending a message that Canada doesn't care about this kind of crime, said Vanessa Lafola, a financial crimes researcher at St. Mary's University in Halifax. The Mounties formed Project Octavia in October of 2018 after a CBC Marketplace investigation revealed how little the RCMP had done to combat the thousands of scam calls harassing Canadians every year, with schemes ranging from Amazon refund scams to impersonating the CRA officials. Ralph Goodale, then federal public safety minister, promised action. Soon after, the Special Task Force was formed at the Milton, Ontario detachment to find those in Canada, providing the critical link between victims here and call centers overseas. And it was a beautiful thing. It's essentially a national priority investigation, RCMP Inspector Jim Ogden said when the task force was created. Remember Jim Ogden? We just read an article that also quoted him. But in January 2021, with cases still pending and scam call activity surging, the RCMP eliminated its financial crimes unit in Ontario, which is a lot of help to me. I love going through my life, finding all kinds of scams, and then not having a great place to report them to. That's a lot of fun. Which oversaw Project Octavia redeploying the scam call investigators into other areas. While the Mounties officially say the work will continue inside other pre-existing units, including serious and organized crime teams, but the thing is that they're also going to be doing other things. We needed a place that was just doing that, you know? A senior RCMP source told Marketplace the investigations have stopped, and I bet you they have. Sir, stop lying to us. Why are you lying? Why did you shut it down? We needed your help. Jimmy! Ugh. Victims will continue to be victimized. They have no recourse, the source said by email. CBC is granting confidentiality to the source because they fear professional repercussions for speaking out critically on the decision to effectively end Project Octavia. What is it, a cult? Is RCMP now a cult? What's happening? The source says the RCMP is uniquely placed to work with police in India to tackle the ongoing calls. These scams are multi-jurisdictional, which makes it impossible for local police departments to actually deal with them effectively, which is one of the major issues that we have. Is that we need the RCMP, we needed Project Octavia, we needed a task force that was dedicated to just this, because it's stealing money from millions of people, millions of dollars every single day, nonstop calls all the time. So an RCMP spokesperson told Marketplace that its integrated market enforcement teams, IMET, remains a dedicated unit that focuses on frauds or other types of illegal activity in securities markets. But again, it would have been nice to keep the one that was just, dedicated to stopping these. The RCMP said the unit provides expertise in securities law, process and regulation, financial services, regulatory requirements, forensic accounting, corporate investigations, security risk management, and capital market criminal investigations. However, people really like it when I say however, apparently. However, the source told Marketplace that the unit has nothing to do with investigating phone scams. The decision, says La Folla, is very reactionary. It's fly by night. And there is Vanessa La Folla right there, by the way, just in case you were wondering. Ending the task force, specifically targeting those funneling money abroad, just makes Canada a more attractive place for people to engage in these kinds of scams, she said. Police say money mules in Canada take in money and keep a set portion of it in return for being a conduit back to criminal kingpins. Kingpins. Sounds so gangsta. Not all mules are necessarily aware of their role in the scam. Some grew up in India and came to Canada on student visas, or immigrated and were recruited to become mules before leaving India or once established in Canada. And I think we need to stop people from making people mules, especially here in Canada. How the scammers get their money. Well, most of those contacted by scammers do not fall victim to the ruse, a sufficient number do, which makes it a hugely profitable endeavor. And no, these people are not stupid. I am getting real sick and tired of talking about scams and MLMs and cults and then having people come on and be like, "Oh, well, if they're going to be stupid enough to fall for the scam, then maybe they deserve to have their money taken." That's not a thing. Shut up. Out of my comment section. Phone scammers, said La Folla, are people who really understand what vulnerabilities other people have and exploit them. She describes them as natural psychologists. Enough of wannabe psychologists out here in the world. We don't need that. Monique Lafrance of Gatineau, Quebec, lost nearly $200,000 in what has become known as the bank investigator scheme. He presented himself as a security investigator from the Royal Bank, and he told me that my accounts had been compromised. She said of the scam call she received in August 2020. He asked me if I wanted to help them find the fraudsters and help others. So sad. The scammer said he would deposit money in her account and that she was to send that additional money in cash by courier to a specific addresses. Oh, several specific addresses. I guess we're just passing it all around. What she didn't realize was that the scammer had access to her online banking and was adding money to her savings account by drawing from her line of credit. It's crazy. It's really crazy. It gets me kind of sick just thinking about it, she said. One of those packages was addressed to Abhinav Bector at his home address, and another package addressed to Abby B at a duct cleaning business where a man of the same name was an employee. The RCMP tracked that package and arrested Bector. This is him here. He was charged with fraud, money laundering, and possession of the proceeds of crime, but in an arrangement that avoided a trial and the possibility of a jail sentence, he pleaded guilty to only the last charge because the whole world's working against us, okay? They don't want us to stop the scammers. Why? Why are we letting people off? I don't know. Nail them to the wall! Sorry. When approached by CBC journalists in November 2021 and asked if he had anything to say about his victims, asshole, some of who are facing the prospect of losing their homes and life savings, asshole, he responded, "I have nothing. I was not. I'm a fucking idiot. And I go around scamming people and then I don't care." Like that. Signs on Bector's car suggest he works now as an Uber driver. Okay. No. Okay. This man, hello. I need everybody to pay attention. This man ever comes and tries to pick you up in an Uber, you punch him right in the face, right in the kisser. Say, "No, scammer. I give you full permission." I am not advocating for violence on this live stream. That is not what I am doing. That was a complete joke. But don't get into an Uber with this man. All right? Ugh. At sentencing in September 2021, the court heard that he had received a job offer from a Canadian bank. Oh my God, stop it. Stop giving this man jobs. His criminal record will be wiped clean a year after his guilty plea. This man is a scammer. Do not hire him. Okay, thank you. Oh God. Oh God. So the bank making the offer may never know of his criminal past. So he's probably working at a bank right now. Isn't that lovely? I gotta love that. Both Gurinderpreet, arrested by the Mounties in that parking lot in February 2020, and his wife, Inderpreet, are scheduled to face trial. However, the proceedings have been repeatedly delayed and are now not scheduled to begin until the spring of 2023. I want these damn people in jail right now. I'm like, I don't even want to wait this long. Why is it taking so long? It's so long here for this crap. They continue to live in the Brampton home where police say they found cash connected to scam victims, and they've probably hidden a bunch of cash in their house, so they're probably good to go. So be careful if you're around the Brampton area in Brampton, because they still there. Court documents allege one of them is Melissa Steele's father. What? Huh? She doesn't want to identify him by name, worrying the scammers will target him again. He has cognitive difficulties and still does not understand what's happened or the consequences that will change his life. He got one of those calls saying that he owed tax money and that he was in trouble. He ended up driving to his bank and taking out money. He has since had to move out of the home. Steele has a message for the couple who allegedly received her father's money, leading to charges. I would say it's cruel, and how would they feel if somebody treated, their loved ones that way? Well, you're nicer than I am, girl, because I would have been like, fuck you, assholes! Anyway, CBC journalist asked Inderpreet what she would say to people who lost their life savings. My husband just opened the door like, what the fuck? Some of whom would be expected to testify at trial. She responded, no comment. Her lawyer, Thomas E. Pittman, later contacted CBC to emphasize his client would not make comments before trial. He said the RCMP have wrongly characterized her as a player in an international criminal syndicate. Yeah, they just like fucking assholes. Anyway, so yes, Project Octavia has been shut down, and these people, it is taking forever to charge them, and it just appears as though we may not care. Just heard Debbie's 95-year-old uncle fell and broke his hip he never wanted. Aw. I'm sorry, Joe. That's awful. They don't give a shit. Yeah, the scammers never give a shit. And apparently our RCMP may not give a shit either. I'm just a little upset at the whole, Project Octavia shutting down. I was really excited that we actually finally had a task force that was just dedicated to that and to shutting down scams in India. It's a huge problem. And like I read in these articles, since it is a jurisdiction over so many different places, and then I guess Project Octavia is only for Ontario, but that's the other thing. Then even different provinces here have different laws. And the thing is, India doesn't really have laws against this. It's a little bit upsetting because it's even when our police do something, they just hit a wall. And this was the hope we had, that maybe we had gotten past that. So now we had a way that we could shut down these scams and really get to them, or at least shut down the people that were in Canada helping run them. And now it just seems like we're back to square one in terms of shutting them down. And that's just upsetting to me as someone who dedicates my entire life to trying to shut down scams and cults that can hurt people. That's what I do here. And then make people laugh as much as I can, because boy, these are some heavy topics. So I hope that you guys all enjoyed this live stream. I'm going to call it a day. That's all I really had to say. Let me know what you think about Canada, the RCMP. I don't want to hear about the Mounties being on horses and stuff. Save the Canuck comments, and let me know what you think. If you think that our normal task force is able to do something about this, or if we're just going back to square one. Should we get another Project Octavia started? Should we just start our own version? I don't know. So many questions. Let me know what you think. Please give the stream a like. It'll be a video after this whenever it pops up. So for my replay crew, please do give it a like. Share it around, especially if you're in Canada, because this information is important. And I do want everyone to just be wary of the cryptocurrency scams and of these CRA scams or any other scams that may ask you to use cryptocurrency to pay something. It's very suspect. And no matter where you are, what you're doing, I hope that you all have a fabulous, fabulous, fabulous day. Take care. And on Monday, there is going to be a really fun r/anti-MLM video. On Wednesday, I have an r/that's insane video. On Friday, we are going to be doing an on passive video. And that's what's coming up next week. And then the week after is really serious. So that's why we're having a laugh this week. So stay tuned for all those. Look out for pay attention to the community tab, add me to social media, blah, 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 blah. And I'll see you all very, very soon. Take care. Mwah. Bye. And fuck all the scammers, man.